Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In 2023, I quit my job at Morgan Stanley and I was struggling to pay rent. 2 years later, I reverted to Islam, won school games, and generated over $300,000 in sales in less than 6 months, alhamdulillah. My name is Ben Pilton, and this video is a quick introduction to who I am, what I do specifically, and who I work with. So here's a quick backstory. I was born in Dubai, moved to Canada in 2016, started working as a software developer for Morgan Stanley in 2021. There, I saved up for 2 years and then I quit that job to start my first business in 2023, where I ran Facebook and Google ads for real estate agents. It was called RAI Edge. I'll be honest, I didn't make a lot of money with it and I was basically burning through my savings, especially because I was signing up to sales and business mentorships at the same time. Now, where I didn't make money, I made a foundation in skills that I would improve over the next year and that would serve me to this day and inshallah much longer. Skills like copywriting, sales, email marketing, content packaging, automations, media buying, landing pages, funnels, data monitoring, VSL writing, offer creation, offer stacking, and a few more. Then in August of 2024, a new business model caught my eye, one that I could pretty much transfer all the skills I learned so far directly into. But it wasn't that easy because I was hesitant to make this switch, and the reason was one simple concept. Staying in one business so you can master it is what will make you a lot of money. And if I change now, who's to say I won't change again later? Plus, I'd be starting from scratch again. But after 2 weeks of carefully weighing the pros and cons, the scale was heavier on one side and I made the switch, alhamdulillah. I also told myself I wouldn't quit this business, inshallah, because the last thing I want to do is keep resetting my progress and jumping between businesses. Just as a side note as well, I reverted after Ramadan of 2024, where I decided to fast the whole month as a challenge to myself, subhanAllah. It was such a good experience that I started looking deeply into Islam and other religions, and the truth was clear, alhamdulillah. So now I'm a growth partner. I partner up with Muslim businesses or content creators like you for a strategic long-term collaboration to increase your revenue substantially by using the same skills I've learned over the past 2.5 years. An easy way to think of it is see me as your business partner, except I don't have any equity in your business. If I work with you, my goal is to do every single thing in my control to increase your revenue while improving your product quality. What that means for you is 1, making a bigger impact, 2, making more money, and 3, happier customers, which leads to more word of mouth. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain exactly how I get paid in a bit, and no, I won't be giving you all the risk while I get paid up front and do nothing. Full transparency though, in the beginning I was partnering up with any creator who had decent potential, but as I keep progressing in my religious journey, I realized one of my goals is working with Muslim brothers and benefiting the ummah as much as I can. So for me, keeping all my business within the boundaries of Islam is the most important thing. Just to be clear, I'm not against working with non-Muslims, quite the opposite, as long as there's nothing haram obviously. Now, most creators fall into one of 3 buckets. Bucket number 1, you have a good baseline with your following and your content, but you may be new to the business side of things and monetizing your audience. At this point, you're making less than 10K a month. Bucket number 2, you have a lot of followers, anywhere from tens of thousands to maybe even millions, but your funnel has leaks you're not aware of, and as a result, your revenue is a fraction of what it could be. Bucket number 3 is that you have a huge following, a huge demand for what you're selling, your systems are flawless, and you're making 100% of your maximum potential. If you're in bucket number 1 or number 2, then keep watching. Here's a list of what I would be doing if I started working with you today. Number 1, me and you will get on an onboarding call to clarify your goals and gather all the information needed for me to get to work. For example, I'll get your time-bound income goals, your current offers and pricing, understand how your backend is set up, create or get any logins I need, set up a communication channel for us like WhatsApp or Slack. Number 2, I'll audit your current setup. This means I'm gonna map out your entire funnel, gather current statistics like views, opt-ins, close rates, churn, etc., and assess your current offer stack, and structure. Number 3, I'll review your current niche and target audience. If needed, we'll change it or narrow it down. If we do change it, we're gonna do research by creating surveys for your audience to fill in return for lead magnets, getting on calls with the ones who match the new avatar, looking into competitors with the same avatar, and more. Number 4, full offer stack creation. If needed, we'll rework your current offerings to increase conversion rate. Starting with your main offer, we're gonna make the offer itself better by maximizing the offer equation. So that means reducing the effort needed from the prospect, promising a bigger dream outcome, doing it in a shorter time frame, using guarantees, etc. If it makes sense, we can pair it with something like a 2-day webinar or a 10-day challenge funnel to warm people up and ease them into the main offer, which is going to increase the conversions. If the main offer is mid or high ticket, we'll have to set up proper payment plans if they're not there already so that it's more accessible to more people. Then we can add a recurring subscription offer, either downsell people who can't afford high ticket into it, or sell the people who've completed the high ticket program into it so that they're not just left with nothing, right? Of course, the direction we go with your offers is going to heavily depend on your goals. Number 5, I'll either create or refine your copywriting based on the new niche and target audience if we went in that direction. Because this is used everywhere in the funnel, I'll also make a copywriting master document with the most important information we need to market to your specific niche, so we can just keep referencing it throughout everything. Just so you get an idea, this can be used in Instagram bios, YouTube videos, scripts and titles and thumbnails, calls to action in videos, Instagram reels, VSLs, and so on. Then for number 6, I can move on to creating or optimizing your landing pages, VSLs, video sales letters, email and SMS sequences, Instagram stories, and DM scripts. The copywriting master document is going to be very useful here. In terms of landing pages, they need to look clean and professional. I prefer Framer or Go High Level, but I can use any tool out there. They also need to be easy to use for all types of users. In terms of VSLs, every word has to be written intentionally. If done right, they're going to be the main reason conversion rates are high. Email and SMS need to be written with a high level plan in mind and include variety. For example, messages sent 4 weeks prior to a launch are going to be written to build curiosity and hype, and they're not going to be as frequent as messages sent on the last days before a launch or an event that are mainly supposed to get people to take action, and they're sent at a higher frequency. All emails and SMS for a launch should be scheduled to automatically send. This is going to ensure a smooth process and avoid any hiccups. Instagram stories should keep users on the platform instead of linking externally on the story. This keeps Instagram's algorithm happy and shares your story even further to more people. Stories also need to be simple, not a lot of text, a great picture that will make people stop scrolling, and a clear call to action. That said, different types of stories can work better in certain niches, such as stories with 5 or more slides, a lot of text, a call to action on the last slide. DM scripts should qualify prospects and move them seamlessly onto the next action that they can take. Number 7, along with the copywriting master document and based on your preferences, I'll also help you out with your overall content direction. Things like creating or giving ideas on titles, thumbnails, intros, calls to action, etc. I'll also audit your past content and create a list of winners. With that, I'm going to create what's called your 70-20-10 plan. 70% of content should be based on winners, 20% should be based on competitors' winners, and 10% should be pure innovation. Number 8 is email marketing. I'll either have to get you a new domain, set it up, and warm it up for maximum deliverability, or I'll have to fix your current setup, or your deliverability is already good. Then I'll write weekly value emails and promotional emails to nurture clients and make sales from the ones that are warm already. This is going to be on top of any event or launch emails that need to be written. Also, I'm going to have to ensure that all prospects are tagged properly based on where they came from and the things that they've opted into and showed interest in, so that we can segment the list and send tailored emails for higher conversions. Number 9, I'll connect your entire backend using automation so that no human time is wasted and leads get what they want even faster. I personally use mostly NA10, but I also use Zapier where it's needed, like certain school automations. A basic example of an automation is syncing up leads between your form filling software like Typeform and your email sending software like Kit.com. That way you don't need to manually export and import CSV files, and the prospect will actually receive their lead magnet or their welcome email immediately, because if they don't, it's going to leave a bad impression. Other use cases can be syncing up leads with your CRM, high ticket call bookings, notes, triggering reminders, or automatically inviting people to your school community WhatsApp group, updating Google Sheets, stuff like that. Number 10, if needed, I'll also be doing community building and management. What this means is choosing the right platform to host your community if you don't already have one, and then making sure engagement is high by using things like easy to answer question posts like where are you from, creating situations where users have to interact with each other like commenting on each other's posts, and also making regular posts from the creator's account. This can also include DM setting, answering DMs from the prospect on a timely basis, and answering any support questions on a timely basis as well. On top of that, I'll structure the community in the best way possible for your specific offer by structuring the onboarding, classroom, user levels, and events like giveaways. Number 11 is sales systems and training. I'll install a clear sales process based on what I learned in my mentorships and my own experience working as a closer on an online fitness offer and my years of cold calling. It needs to be smooth and seamless for the prospect all the way through, from their application to the triage, to the sales call, to the close, and the onboarding. Information needs to be transmitted between different team members if applicable, properly, so that the prospect doesn't need to repeat themselves constantly. Calls to a new lead have to be made within the first minute of opt-in, otherwise conversion rates are going to plummet. I'll also write the scripts and objection handling documents for both the triage and the sales calls respectively. If you already have setters or closers, I can train them as well. If not, I can take calls myself, but this is going to depend on ticket size and volume. Number 12, once we have an organic funnel that converts consistently, I'll start working on ads and scaling up the business. To scale, we can ask a simple question first. If sales increase by 10x, are we able to handle the volume and delivery? If yes, then we're good. If no, then we need to set it up so that we can. In terms of ads, I'm gonna need photos and videos from you or whoever the face of the brand is. If it's faceless, then that's a different story. Maybe I can help out in making those creatives. But ads are basically a game of creatives, which is just photos and videos that are used in the ad. We can start with a small number of creatives if you've never run ads before, like 4 to 10, and start to test them and find winners. But over time, we're gonna need more and more and more to ensure consistent results and a high ROAS, return on ad spend. To start off on the ads, we'll set a reasonable target customer acquisition cost, CAC, and also a target ROAS, and then strive to hit those numbers. I'll also be writing hooks, scripts, and videography for the ads, or I'll be giving you feedback on yours. Number 13, over time, I'll create standard operating procedures for each part of the business. This way, no matter who's handling a process or action, they're gonna have a step-by-step guide designed so that even someone with zero knowledge will be able to execute. For example, how to set up an ad campaign on Facebook Ads Manager, or how to make edits to the landing page, or how to view sales data for the past 30 days, stuff like that. Number 14, ongoing management and optimization. We're gonna get on a weekly or a bi-weekly call, or more often if needed, to review metrics and find or fix the current bottleneck of the business. I'll also continuously be updating the copy, offer, doing A/B tests on things like landing pages, YouTube thumbnails, Instagram hooks, etc. We can also run a quarterly meeting with a larger overview on metrics and direction as a whole. And that's the general overview, but just keep in mind there can be many more or less things to do depending on your niche, offer, and your business, so specifics are gonna vary. Now you might be thinking, okay, but you still haven't mentioned how you actually get paid. I get paid in a way that's risk-free to you, profit share, but what does that actually look like? First, I need to give you a disclaimer. If you're already making a decent amount of money every month, I'm not gonna hop in and start eating into those profits. That wouldn't even feel right. Instead, I'll give you a money in hand guarantee. The specifics of this guarantee are gonna depend on your business, but here's an example. If you're already making 20K a month in profit, I'll come in and work for free until I help increase that number to 25K a month. Think about it. All the things I just mentioned above for free. Once we hit that mark, I'll start taking 20% of the profit, as an example. Now, this is the most important part that people just completely miss out on. At that point, you might still be making 20K a month, 80% of 25K, but you're working much less. You won't be constantly stressed and thinking about what to do next and how you're gonna do it. And now you have a business that makes 300K a year instead of 240K a year. And you'll have proper systems in place, more word of mouth, more time to think about the long-term vision of your business and your life in general. Overall, a much better path to scaling. The second thing is that with profit share, I don't get paid until you're making a profit. So I'm never gonna be able to eat into your margins or be the reason you make a loss. Number 3, I'm not here to make a quick buck off you. The only way I make money is if you're making a profit. So my incentives are tied to your business growth as opposed to getting paid upfront and performing half-heartedly. The fourth thing is that I'm much more like a business partner than a vendor or a consultant. This way, I'll be thinking long-term and building a business that lasts instead of trying to make quick money and then just leave. And you're gonna be keeping all ownership and control. I'm not asking for any equity in your business. You will own everything, even the systems that I come up with, because this is your brand. And finally, you know that if we end up working together, inshallah, that I genuinely believe you can profitably grow. Otherwise, I would end up working for free. So if you wanna make more money, help more people in your audience, allocate your time more effectively in your business, and at the same time grow your audience, go to the description or the pinned comment, click the link, then scroll down on that page, book a call. It's completely free. Best case, we end up working together and just skyrocketing your business. Worst case, you get 30 to 45 minutes of free consulting. I'll audit your current situation, point out the biggest leaks, and give you a game plan. No pressure, no hard pitch or anything like that. You just leave the call with more clarity and direction. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.